From enormous storks and condors to tiny kiwis and dangerous cassowaries, here are 20 of the strangest looking birds in the world. 20. Standard winged nightjar. These unusual birds are found in the dry savannas of Africa, from Senegal to Ethiopia. They're noted for the adult male's strange wing ornament that only appears during breeding season. Each wing is adorned by a broad central flight feather that can extend nearly 40 centimeters long, which is much longer than the bird itself, which goes about 23 centimeters. The male will raise those feathers vertically like flags to attract the female's attention. 19. Long wattled umbrella bird. If you didn't know any better, you'd almost think this bird is sporting a pompadour. However, we do know better, because that odd-looking formation is actually an erectile head crest. Both males and females have them, but the male's is a bit larger, and he is better recognized by large feathery throat wattles, the length of which can be controlled and stay retracted while flying. They're native to the mountainous forest regions of southwestern Colombia and Ecuador. However, they are endangered by deforestation and hunting, and about 15,000 individuals are estimated to exist in the wild. 18. King of Saxony bird of paradise. Found in the mountainous forests of New Guinea, it was initially described in 1894, and its common name, King of Saxony, was in honor of Albert of Saxony, then the king of that state in Germany. The males have two blue brow plumes that can measure up to 50 centimeters long. Very impressive, given the birds measure about 22 centimeters. The ornate head plumes are so strange that when specimens were first delivered to Europe, the birds were thought to be fake. 17. Luzon bleeding heart. The bird gets its unusual name from the unusual reddish hue that appears on the animal's breast and runs down to its belly. It gives the illusion of blood spilling down the front of the bird. This animal is native to the island of Luzon in the Philippines, and it's actually one of several species of bleeding heart ground doves. However, this particular species exhibits the most pronounced image of blood on the bird. And thanks to that vivid plumage, the critter is often trapped for the pet trade. 16. Golden pheasant. This brilliantly colored bird really gets around. It's native to the mountains of western China, but feral populations can be found from the US to Central and South America, to Europe, and all the way to New Zealand. They're known by their distinctive bright red bodies and golden crest, and it's actually the males who display the bright coloration because females are much less showy. These pheasants can fly, but they typically prefer to stay on the ground. However, if they are alarmed, they can suddenly fly upwards in a great burst of speed. 15. Ribbon-tailed Astrapia. There are over 40 species of the bird of paradise. In fact, we just mentioned one of the critters earlier. Now, this is another one, and this one is native to the forest highlands of Papua New Guinea. They're described as being medium-sized critters with males going about 32 centimeters long. However, that does not include the tail, which can grow more than a meter in length. In fact, males of this species have the longest tail feathers of any bird in relation to the body size, measuring more than 3 times the length of the body. 14. Kiwi. The flightless bird is similar in size to a domestic chicken, but they are closely related to the much larger emu and cassowary. They're actually the smallest member of ratites, and that's a group of large and mostly flightless birds which includes the aforementioned animals. Larger species of kiwi can weigh in at about 7 pounds or a little over 3 kilograms. In relation to its body size, it does lay the largest eggs of any known bird species. Now, of course, this critter is a national icon of New Zealand, so much so that the human natives of the country are often referred to as kiwis. 13. Snowy owl. They're native to the Arctic regions of Eurasia and North America, and the coloring allows them to easily blend into their surroundings. Males are nearly all white, while females display a noticeable amount of black flecks of plumage. Now, you might recognize a female snowy owl named Hedwig, that shows up in the Harry Potter books and movies. Now, the real-life critters display some magic when it comes to the physical adaptations, which allow them to survive harsh, freezing conditions above the Arctic Circle. Did you know that when the juveniles, the birds actually have black feathers which will eventually turn white? 12. Cockapoo. Now, this rare bird is endemic to New Zealand, and although you might not immediately guess it, the cockapoo is actually the world's only flightless and nocturnal species of parrot. Weighing up to 4 kilograms, they're also the heaviest species of that bird. Even though their short wings don't allow them to fly, these birds are excellent climbers, able to easily climb trees while the plumage offers camouflage from predators. And they need all the protection they can get. Did you know that as of April 2018, the entire adult population totaled less than 150 individuals? 11. Blue-footed booby. These marine birds are found from the Gulf of California all the way south to Peru, and large numbers of breeding pairs tend to favor the Galapagos Islands. Males are noted for their unusual blue feet, the color of which is a result of the diet of fish that contain carotenoids. The blue feet serve as an indicator of the male's health, so they play a vital role when he struts in front of females during the mating rituals. Since younger males tend to have the brightest feet, they are thought to be healthier and thus more fertile specimens, so females usually select them for breeding. 10. Peafowl. You might identify these brightly colored critters as peacocks, but that term refers only to the males of the species. Females are actually referred to as peahens. The males, of course, are known for the vivid iridescent plumage called a train of feathers. Those feathers have surreal eye spots that become apparent when the male spreads his fan to attract females. Experts say the ladies are attracted to males displaying the brightest plumage because it indicates he can help her create healthy offspring. 9. Magnificent frigate bird. Here's a bird that really likes to puff out its chest, or so it seems. The males of this species are distinguished by the striking red throat sacs, which are inflated during mating season to attract females. They're found in subtropical waters of the Atlantic and Pacific coasts, as well as in the Galapagos Islands. The large birds can weigh more than 15 pounds and have a wingspan around 8.5 feet. And here's a fun factoid. The birds are named for frigates or warships, although English mariners called them man-o'-war birds. 8. Keel-billed toucan. That formidable-looking beak appears like it could be heavy and solidly built. Now, in fact, it measures about 6 inches long, and it's made out of hollow bone, which makes it spongy. But it's covered in keratin, the hard, lightweight protein that's also found in your hair and fingernails. The colorful birds are found throughout Latin America, often at altitudes exceeding 6,000 feet. 7. Andean condor. Able to navigate elevations of some 16,000 feet, these birds can soar about the Andes Mountains of South America. At such extreme altitudes, the animals only have to flap their wings periodically in order to travel great distances. Did you know these condors are actually considered to be the world's largest flying bird, at least as measured by combined weight and wingspan? They weigh about 25 pounds and have a wingspan approaching 11 feet. The high-ranging birds serve as the national symbol for many South American countries, including Argentina and Peru. 6. Marabou stork. Now, you could say these big birds have a grave presence. In fact, they are sometimes called the Undertaker bird. Standing more than 5 feet tall, they have a wingspan of over 10 feet. Found in Africa, they're usually scavengers that prefer larger carrion. However, they will feast on birds as well and have a taste for flamingos in particular. Did you know they have an off-putting means of thermoregulation? They can control the body temperature by voiding the bowels all over their legs. 5. Sri Lanka frogmouth. As the name would suggest, these birds are endemic to Sri Lanka as well as to the Western Ghats of South India. They're nocturnal critters, and they tend to be difficult to spot when resting on tree branches because they can resemble dried leaves. And yes, they do have a somewhat frog-like appearance, although some of us thought they looked a bit like an angry muppet. What do you think? 4. Rhinoceros hornbill. Similar in size to a swan, this is one of the largest hornbills and is hunted for its feathers and meat. They're known to live in captivity for around 90 years, but in the wild, they inhabit mountain rainforests with a range that extends from Borneo to Thailand. Now, some have remarked that the coloration of that rhino horn reminds them a bit of the toucan. 3. Greater adjutant. Now here is the epitome of a big bird. The greater adjutant belongs to the stork family and is found across Asia. Not that they would be difficult to miss. These animals stand upwards of 5 feet tall and have a wingspan measuring more than 8 feet. Now, in case you were wondering, those bills, well, they go about 13 inches long. Not surprisingly then, this bird ranks among the largest of all living storks. With that massive bill, bare head and unusual neck pouch, they have a stiff way of walking, which is reminiscent of a military gait, and that inspired the common name adjutant, or military officer. 2. Cassowary. It may bear a resemblance to the ostrich, but this beast was once voted the most dangerous bird on the planet by Guinness. That rep is linked to the critter's powerful legs. They have sharp talons that can serve to seriously injure one in a single kick. And if you get one agitated enough, you better be a fast runner, because these birds can reach speeds of over 30 miles per hour or 50 kilometers per hour, and are excellent swimmers as well. Now, a lot of us thought these birds looked very much like dinosaurs, thanks to that keratinous casque on the heads, giving them a very prehistoric appearance. However, experts are divided over what exact function that thing serves. Some guesses include it being used as a weapon in mating disputes, or maybe it protects the heads from falling seeds, which can be the size of golf balls. 1. Shoebill stork. Now, it's easy to see how these bizarre stork-like birds got the common name, and that is by virtue of its enormous bill. While that 6-inch bill might appear cartoonish, the animal can use it to deadly effect when it comes to hunting prey. After using it to scoop up its victim, the bird opens the bill just enough for the critter's head to poke out, and the bird suddenly clamps down and swallows that victim whole. They're found throughout the freshwater swamps of Central Africa, and you know they were familiar creatures to the ancient Egyptians.